What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast episode, Around the Track with the Riders, NASCAR podcast featuring myself, SterlingRider, and of course, always joining me, Duke Rider.
Hey everybody, a couple of exciting weekends of racing for sure that we've had. I'm looking forward to talking about it. Plus, all the ins and outs of what's going on in NASCAR.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure we didn't. I didn't ask where you exactly wanted to start before we started recording, but that's okay. Um,
Well, I would say we need to start with the most up-to-date information on um, the Alex Bowman situation.
yep.
If you're unaware, he was out of he missed Phoenix for vertigo reasons, and he's projected he's going to miss this weekend as well at Las Vegas. They have not officially announced anything, but there was a small little mistake by their website guy, and he had put that Justin Allgaier would be filling in the 48 this week. So, um, you know. I'm not really sure what you think, but I'll give you what I think real quick. I feel bad for Alex. I feel bad for any driver that's in a situation where they have to get out of the car due to health reasons or injury or something like that. Not the biggest Alex Bowman fan when it comes to him being on the racetrack and stuff like that, but when it comes to any driver, I just hate for health to be a reason for him to not be in the car. And Alex is still a young guy. I mean, he's not, he's in his early 30s. I don't remember exactly how old he is, but um, it seems like he's been around forever. I mean, he has been around forever, but um, he's still a young guy. He still had what you think would be years for his career. I'm not sure his career was going to last with Hendrick Motorsports just due to performance. So, and his contract is up this year. They've re-signed Chase Elliott through 2030. They've re-signed William Byron through 2029. They've got um, Kyle Larson signed through 2030. So, actually, I think Byron might be through 2032. And they did that a couple years before their contracts were up, right?
Yep.
That they signed them that early. Well, they haven't done that with Alex, so that kind of lets you think maybe Alex not gonna be in the ride next year, but Alex out of the car, or this is Alex's last year to be in the series or in a race car at all. That just I hate that when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. One of the biggest things as a NASCAR fan, of course, is the last thing you want a driver to have to do is step out of the car when it's not their decision, when it's medical or something. You always want it to be their decision. So it's not good to be forced out because of other things. But yeah, hopefully, praying for Alex to recover, of course, get back in the car. I know, as you said, nothing has been mentioned about staying with HMS. And again, as you said, HMS is normally on top of that years prior. So he probably will be moving on, in my opinion. I think he'll be moving on to another team. If he doesn't drop out altogether due to health concerns, which again would absolutely suck. But yeah, just praying he gets better. As you said, the website guy kind of boo booed, and Bob Pockrass post about it that Justin Allgaier is listed. I saw something on Facebook at first, and then I went looking for Bob Pockrass because I trust Bob Pockrass more than I trust the random things I see on Facebook. So he kind of confirmed it. So whoopsies to the website guy. But yeah, just Phoenix, Anthony Alfredo filled in for Alex Bowman, and then he actually got out of the car early during COTA, which Matt Snyder got a chance to hop in that seat. So pretty cool for Matt, I will say. That's a huge thank you to Regan Smith,
My
giving. Whatever. But Regan Smith gave Fox and the team that recommendation. So that was a good, nice move by Regan for sure. So yeah, as I said, we will be praying for Alex's recovery. Hopefully it's smooth and quick, and he can get over it and get back in that car.
Yeah, for sure. At least want to see him, even if it's not with Hendrick, because he is a talented driver. I don't think he's Hendrick caliber talent. As far as like, he's not on a Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Larson, consistently every week up there for, in contention. But he would be a good driver to plug into Aspire Motorsports. There's a lot of drivers that they're not gonna race forever. Michael McDowell's getting up there. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin. Of course, we know that Toyota has an overrun of drivers right now, and don't have the seats to put them in. So I would doubt that he would be, somebody that Toyota would go after. But he could go down to the O'Reilly series as well and become like the next Justin Allgaier of the O'Reilly series.
Yep.
Consistently winning races, consistently competing for a championship in that series. Um, so that's what you want to see. You want to see a driver to be able to make those decisions and not have to make a decision to get out of the car due to health reasons. I mean, and we've seen that a lot. Um, Over the years. I mean, Dale Jr. had to get out because of concussions, but he was able to do that last year under his own. Um, he was able to go out his own way, right?
Right.
Casey Kane didn't have that option. Casey Kane had to get out of the car because he was having hydration problems with his body. He could not stay hydrated for the entire length of a Cup race. And then Kurt Busch got hurt, and of course that ended Kurt Busch's career with concussions. And Alex has had concussions and missed races for concussions in the past, and then his back injury. And honestly, Alex Bowman has not been the same since his back injury. Not the same driver that he was prior to that back injury. So just really hate to see if he does have to get the car permanently. I really think that he has the staying power to be able to stick around for a while if he can stay healthy. So again, I'm with what you said. Prayers for Alex and his situation. So um, the only other real news that we need to talk about is NASCAR. Um, they were able to JGR did get a temporary preliminary injunction
Mm-hmm.
to keep Chris Gabehart from working at Spire Motorsports in a competition director position. Um, Temporarily, they go back to court on March 17th, which is a week from yesterday, to go over more. A lot has come out. We did our last show. Um, and basically what it boils down to, in my opinion, is Chris Gabehart. He was promoted to competition director for Joe Gibbs Racing. The 54 car with Ty Gibbs was not running well. Joe went to Chris and said, I need you to crew chief the 54 car. Chris didn't want to do it. And they were like, okay, well, if you will do it, we'll give you, add another $25,000 a week to your salary. So Chris was like, I really don't want to do it, but I guess I'll do it anyway. And obviously that team didn't gel with Chris, and Chris didn't gel with Ty, and it caused a lot of problems. And then they went to Chris, and I don't know really what happened with Joe Gibbs, but Chris made the decision that he was going to leave. He felt from the way I'm kind of reading into what he was saying, was he felt trapped. It's like he was basically told work with the 54 or else. And then he picked the work with the 54, and then that caused a lot of issues with Ty Gibbs and his family, right? So, um, you know, then he decided to leave and, probably did some things he shouldn't have. But then we find out that Joe Gibbs hired a private detective to follow Gabe Hart around. Which, I mean, it's just kind of, um, oh boy.
Okay, then didn't know that part.
um, yeah, that came out this week. So, um, it's, Chris did say he did have some of the information that they were saying that he stole, and he's like, didn't really steal it. It was kind of mine to begin with because I'm the one that, did it all. So,
Yeah,
we talked about it. It's like a football coach. When a football coach leaves to go to another team, he takes his playbook with him,
right.
right? He doesn't leave it there on his desk for the next coach coming in, and that's kind of the way this situation is. But we'll really find out more after the 17th as to what's going to happen with this case. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see it settled out of court. Um, when we had the whole situation with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports suing NASCAR last year, um, the closer it got to the actual court date, the more it seemed like there was no way that there was going to be any kind of resolution outside of court. Well, I think that this Chris Gabehart, Joe Gibbs Racing thing is going to be resolved outside of court because if they don't, there's already a lot of negative
Mm.
uh, publicity on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That and there's going to be more that's going to come out if they continue to go down this road. I think that they'll have to settle just to keep that stuff from going public. I think NASCAR wishes they would have settled because all the stuff that we saw went public with that, with the comments about Richard Childress and the comments about the SRX League and all the different stuff that came out through all that. I'm pretty sure NASCAR was like, oh man, we didn't think this through. We really should have settled.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen in this case, but I don't know. We'll find out more on the 17th.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they settled, but yeah. So I guess we will definitely talk about that in the next episode. The only two smallish news to note. I know I texted you about this, and you kind of gave me your response there. But breaking news. If you haven't seen them, you should. You probably have anyway. Cletus McFarlane has signed with RCR for a couple years to make 2 to 3 races for the next couple of seasons. His first race will be at Rockingham, not a track I would pick to start at, but okay. And the number
Right?
33. Yeah, I can't even drive that track on iRacing, so I don't see how this is going to work. But you know what? Good for Cletus, but was he ready for O'Reilly's, or should he done more truck and ARCA before?
He really needs, in my opinion, more ARCA and late model starts. He did mention on the Dale Jr. download that he was buying some late models, so he could go and get some track time with those. Um, I agree. Rockingham is not someplace I would have um, wanted to make my start. I probably would have went for like a Las Vegas or a Kansas or something like that, where the track big, the track is wide. I can get out of the way of the leaders. At Rockingham, he is just going to be in the way. Um, he's going to have a fast car. He does not have the skill set to drive what that car is going to be able, at the speed that car is going to be able to go. And I'm just concerned that he's going to, just due to inexperience, be put in some spots that he's not going to be able to handle the way he needs to handle it. Now, from that's from the competition side. From the publicity side, this is great for NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as long as Cletus doesn't go out there and make an absolute fool of himself on the racetrack, this is great for NASCAR. Now, if he goes out there and he has a Natalie Decker incident, if he's a half a lap behind the accident and gets involved in the accident because he didn't slow down, that's not going to be a good look uh, for him or for NASCAR, because he's going to get criticized for doing it. NASCAR is going to be criticized for letting him do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're either in. I mean, this is literally two different sides of a coin. You're either in a win-win or a lose-lose.
Yep.
If he goes out there, he performs good. It's a win-win for him. It's a win for him. It's a win for NASCAR. If he goes out there and he has one of those incidences, it's a loss for him. It's a loss for NASCAR. So we'll just have to wait and see how he does. I'm not worried about his start at Talladega, because it's going to be like his truck start at Daytona, but not quite as bad because handling doesn't play as much of a factor at Talladega as it does at Daytona.
Yep.
So as long as he just kind of hangs out in the pack and doesn't do anything stupid, he'll be fine.
Yep.
At Talladega. So, but yeah, I think he needs some more wheel time.
Yeah, and I can agree as well. More wheel time and track time, definitely. But I mean, this as you said, it could go one of two ways. It could do good and be good for both, or it could not go so good and be not so good for both. And then again, who knows? He could come out and somehow do really well. That's always an option too for part of the win side. But personally, I don't think so. I think, as you said, needs a few more starts with ARCA and even late models, which is good that he's going out and getting involved with late models, so he can have that. But it's still going to be very difficult because the cars, yes, track time's nice, but the cars drive completely different. And I can just tell you that from iRacing, doing iRacing myself. They drive completely different. Excuse me. So, but we've seen, I know a lot of big people in NASCAR have said good things about it. Some people have said not so good things about it. Of course, a lot of people that said not so good things about it have done almost exactly what Cletus is doing. They did one start in a lower series and then immediately went up to the top series. So I don't see why they're really talking, but that's just me. But I mean, good. If just I hope it comes out good is about all I can say. So yeah,
For sure.
that's yeah. And the only other news, this is more of a, actually it's two things, but one, the same driver. They're both kind of small. According to Adam Stern, Monster Energy being in talks with sponsoring Spire Motorsports driver Carson Hocevar. At least they're off that 54 if they do this.
Yeah. Well, they're already off. They're off the 54 to 45.
That is, yep, you are
as far
correct.
as I know, and they're on the 35, but that is not good news for Riley Herbst. Because that's the whole reason Riley has the ride is because of Monster Energy. If Monster Energy goes to Spire Motorsports and Carson, now you've got two drivers there. You've got Corey Heim and Riley Herbst. Neither one really bring money to the table now because Riley's lost his. So who you put in that car? The obvious choice is Corey Heim, right? So that's not a good thing, Riley. Great for Carson. I think it very well fits his personality. I think it very well fits who he is on and off the racetrack.
Yep.
It's one of those, back when Monster first came in the sport and they came in with Kyle Busch, right? When Kyle was at the top of the sport, top of his game, just he came in with Kyle, and then they jumped immediately with Kurt as well. So, um, you know, it's perfect. They're perfect for each other. I mean, it's kind of, I look at it and as it's a, Dale Jr. and Budweiser were the perfect combination, right?
Right.
Um, you know, you had Dale Earnhardt and Goodwrench,
Yeah.
and then you had STP and Richard Petty. So you had some very great sponsor driver combinations, right? Because the sponsor and the driver, their personalities, what they were, they came together really good. And Carson is another example of that. If he lands this Monster Energy, it would be great for NASCAR because I could see Monster kind of maybe doing some of the old school advertising
Mm-hmm.
where, like Bush is doing with Ross Chastain.
Yep.
Um, you know, uh, I could see Monster doing some of that advertising with Carson, and I think that would be great for the sport. It would be great for Carson. It would really be great for Spire
Yep.
Motorsports. So, yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just want to throw in, I know because you mentioned, Monster originally came in when Kurt was on top of his game. Carson isn't even close to the top of his game. So it would be
Mm.
definitely huge for him and Spire, for sure. So only thing I wouldn't like about
And they
it,
have
perfect.
they have the perfect flavor name already.
Yeah.
Hurricane Hocevar Monster Energy.
I'm not an energy drink person, but I would at least give that one a try because I'm a NASCAR fan. Not saying I'm liking it, but I would give it a try because that would be cool. I wouldn't lie. That would be cool just to see. And that would be an interesting drink name. So that would be cool. Yeah, that was a good point. The only thing I wouldn't like is Monster isn't a fan of having. They're kind of like Coca Cola, of course. Coca Cola and Monster are pretty much the same company. They don't like having their diecast made, so a lot of Carson hosts of our diecasts would not get made. That being the point, so you'd have to get people to make customs, which can get pricey because I've already looked into some. Um,
Yeah.
so that would be only downfall to that.
Well, I guess you mentioned diecast. We kind of need to mention that part of the news as well. Racing has been bought out um, by another company, diecast company, and I forget the name of the company. Any which way, it puts Lionel under the same umbrella as Racing Champions, Auto World, Johnny Lightning, a lot of iconic diecast brands are now under the same umbrella. And Lionel's going to slide right in there, um, which could open the door for us to get some of these cars made. Because they have some of these sponsors that we're not getting the cars made have contracts with these other companies, and they're like, well, we've got these contracts with them, we can't sign with you because they're exclusive contracts. Well, now they're all under the same umbrella. The only one that's not is Coca-Cola, and they're signed with M3 machines, right? And that's not part of this brand, but um, give it time.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Give it time.
I wouldn't be surprised if M3 ended up under this umbrella as well. That would be cool. But yeah, that's a good point. I guess we didn't talk. Well, there wasn't enough to talk about last episode. So yeah, that's official now. I believe they call it the Lionel Brands Group, something like that. But as you said, it's basically an umbrella from a lot of previous diecast companies. So it's actually pretty awesome. I didn't consider that. Some diecast coming back into action thanks to sponsorship. So that would be cool. So it's all the news I had. Do you have anything else I might have missed?
No, I think that pretty much covers everything that's happened. It's been a quiet season.
So far, I
Oh yeah, well you just wait till silly season ramps up. I really think silly season is going to launch around Coca-Cola 600 time.
yep.
I think you're going to see the very first domino of 2026 falls. I think it's going to be a very big domino. I think it's going to leave a prominent racing team with a seat to fill. Um, I think it's going to leave a team that's not very old with a very experienced driver to fill their seat. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think in May, June, July, I think the news cycle for silly season is really going to ramp up. We just got to wait for that first domino.
Yep.
And it's a big one, folks. I'm telling you, it's a big one. First domino to fall.
I would agree. I would agree. But yeah, so keep that in mind. Definitely news coming throughout the, later in the season. But I guess now we can talk about some racing. First up with some racing that had some lefts and some rights. Um,
Yes.
Trucks took on a new road course or street course, I suppose you could call it. This couple weekends ago at St. Petersburg. So that was
Yeah, and if you're familiar with IndyCar, you're familiar with St. Pete.
right.
It's been the first race of the season for several years. It's one of the it's usually with IndyCar it can go one of two ways. Either it's an absolute snooze fest, or it's one of the most exciting races of the season. Um, so when they announced that the trucks were going there, knowing how the trucks race on road courses, I knew this was going to be one of the better races of the season.
Absolutely.
Um, I know we complain about the Cup Series having too many road courses, but these trucks drive really, really well on road courses. And when they announced St. Pete, I was like, oh man, this is going to be an awesome race. And to my surprise, it was not a wreckfest.
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually a really good race. Especially up front. I mean, top five were moving around almost all race. Um, there until kind of the ending stint of the race. So
And you had two very prominent IndyCar drivers as rookies in this race with Dario Franchitti in his first race since 2013
oh,
when he got hurt and basically ended his career, and then James Hinchcliffe in a truck, and both of them ran in the top 10 most of the day. I know that um, Dario had some issues um, at the end. I think if I remember right, he had like a tire go down there in the last 5 laps or so, and
it
that kind of
was yeah.
set him back in the pit. But James Hinchcliffe was able to finish 10th. I mean, and that's a big deal when you have these drivers come in. Um, before we talk about the race, though, I want to talk about Townsend Bell in the Fox Sports booth for this truck race. Uh, I've watched a lot of IndyCar, so I'm very familiar with Townsend and his commentary. I watch. He also covers like the 24 Hours of Daytona. I watch a lot of that, um, a lot of the race. And Townsend Bell is a professional of professionals when it comes to being in the commentary booth.
Hmm.
And he went up there and this is his first ever NASCAR race to cover, and he spoke like he had experience. He knew what he was talking about. He acted like he knew what he was talking about. In my opinion, he embarrassed Jamie Little
Not hard to do, but yes.
and Michael Waltrip. Um, with his knowledge of what was going on track. He's calling out things that they're missing. He's asking questions and then answering his own question. Um, and it was just, it was excellent to listen to him in his analysis of this race. He knows the track inside and out. He's driven this track. He's been um, he's been in IndyCar on this track. He's been in the commentary booth for several years with IndyCar. So just hearing him and his professionalism in the booth, it was very refreshing to have that, in my opinion.
Absolutely, it was great. As you said, he did great. Made Jamie and Michael look like they had no clue what they're doing, which, as I said when you said that, not hard to do. But yeah, it was great. It made the truck race exciting. It made the truck race, fun to watch. Because I mean, we've talked about it before. Commentary is a big part of watching the race, unless you're physically there. But that's a whole different experience. Watching it on TV or streaming platform, wherever, commentary is what helps you understand what's actually going on throughout the race, even if they may not be showing it on the TV camera. And that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, well done. That's all I can say. I would love to have him back for an oval, even, but maybe even another road course if possible. Um,
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about him when we get to Phoenix because he was in the booth for a few minutes during the Cup race at Phoenix.
yep.
So with James Hinchcliffe, but we'll talk about that more when we get to Phoenix. But what a drive for Lane Riggs! He
Yes.
starts in 28th position, and he drove to the front. He was in the top 10 before the end of stage one. Um, and just drove his butt off. And what really shocked me out of this, and it shocked me, but it didn't shock me, was that Ford swept the top four positions of this race. Um, and, the second place finisher, Ty Majeski, started 22nd. So they didn't start up in the front. This was a road course. They had to work their way to the front. And watching those two work their way to the front and then race it out for the lead with Ben Rhodes and Chandler Smith right there with them was a lot of fun. But also watching Dario and James Hinchcliffe and what they were doing there inside the top 10. What was going on inside with this race? It was awesome to watch, and uh, I can't say Fox did a bad job covering it because they actually did a really good job covering what was going on as these two came up through the field, as the leaders battled and all that the stuff that went on. Um, this race was exciting. I knew it was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I believe it actually surpassed my expectations as to how exciting this was.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree. I had the same point. I expect it to be, exciting and fun, but it even, it exceeded that with just how everything uh, smoothly went, which is very rare for a truck race. So it was great. It was fantastic. I literally have no complaints about this race at all, broadcast wise. So
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Fastest lap was Lane Riggs on lap 45.
no
Let's
surprise.
see, where did he get to? Yeah, he got to seventh in stage one. So from 28th to seventh in stage one, he won stage two. Um, was running out of gas on that last lap and was still able to win it. Um, Colin Braun returns to the Truck Series for the first time in a long time in that number 25 Dodge Ram. or number 25 Ram, gave them their best run of the season at ninth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and then I mentioned James Hinchcliffe finishing 10th as well. So just really, really good race with some really good finishes.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Series. COTA.
This is I hate to say it, this is the one race I didn't watch. My bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a
Busy.
pretty good race. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that just busy schedule. I wasn't able to get around to watch it. So whoops.
It was a good race. Of course, it was, in my opinion, it was better than the Cup race. But how often doesn't that happen, right?
Yeah.
Of course, SVG continues his domination. Whenever he gets in one of those junior motorsports cars on a road course in the O'Reilly series, he's just, dominant.
Yep.
Um, Connor Zillage looked like he was going to give him a run for his money, but he got booted a couple times and spun out. Um, and had some issues. Austin Hill finished second, did really good. Austin Hill's always been good at COTA. Uh, let's see here. Corey Day. Controversy, Corey Day. Um, he has had some issues. Had some issues at Atlanta. Um, basically he's the one that sent uh, Zillage around on that one of that final things, and just kind of caused a lot of issues. Apparently, they have sat down and talked to him, and he cleaned it up for a little bit at Phoenix. So, um, he's fast. He's a little behind the eight ball because of his lack of experience
Mm-hmm.
in these cars. I think he'll get it. But yeah, even with his incidents, as though he's been able to finish in the top 10 the past couple weeks. So that's a good thing for him.
Yeah. For
Really,
sure.
not a whole lot to say. It was the typical Xfinity race. There was a lot of action. It was fast. Or not Xfinity, O'Reilly's. I'm sorry, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. No apps. Um, sounds like you're going to a restaurant and they come and ask you if you're ready for your order, and the first thing out your mouth is no apps. You don't want no appetizers. But anyway, it was an exciting race. That we'd expect. Of course, the booth of CW did an awesome job. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is that we could talk about for that Xfinity race, because there wasn't a whole lot that happened. It was a clean race. Um, there were a few incidences, but nothing earth shattering other than Corey Day spinning out Connor Zillage. Um, but yeah, it was a pretty good race. Then we go to the Cup race. How
Yeah.
disappointed were you with the result of the Cup race?
Very, to be honest. I mean, props to making history, but wouldn't have been where my money was if I had any, and if I had even put any of it there. Um, yeah, I mean, early in the race, I mean, Tyler Reddick was doing okay, but he didn't seem like he was going to have winning speeds. Then all of a sudden, here he is at the end of the race in front. So to me, it came down. I was thinking early on SVG or Ryan Blaney, because Blaney took off like a bullet right at the green flag. So I was expecting Blaney if SVG didn't somehow catch him, which stage cautions you can pretty much catch them no problem. But SVG I guess, was just struggling a little bit, trying to get up. But yeah, die.
Yeah, I'm going to share an unpopular opinion. I think road course racing, because we got up to where we at one point in time we had 6 or 7 on the Cup Series schedule. Um, it's kind of lost its appeal. Um, they did it because the Gen 6 car ran really well on road courses. So they're like, well, didn't it ran really well on road courses, not so much on mile and a half, right? So they're like, well, let's cut down on our mile and a half. We'll add some more road courses. That's where the Roval came from, and stuff like that. And then we got this next gen car that races really well on the mile and a half, races okay on the short tracks, getting better with the new horsepower package and the softer tire that they're bringing. Um, but the road course racing with this car is just not good. It's really lost its appeal. Fans are starting to turn on it, myself included. I want to go back to the 2 road course races of year at Sonoma and Watkins Glen. If they want to rotate a third in there somewhere, let's run somewhere different every year. We've got Canadian Tire, we've got COTA, we've got Road America, we've got Road Atlanta. We can do a street course like they're doing in San Diego this year. We could go back to Chicago, do a street course there. We could do one in New York. We could do one in Florida. We could do one in Washington D.C. I mean, IndyCar is doing one in Washington D.C. this year. Why the heck not? Why can't NASCAR?
Yeah,
Right? I mean, throw that third one in there, move it to a different location every year. But really, we don't need more than 3 road courses every year. And Sonoma and Watkins Glen need to be the permanent fixtures on the series, and everything else can just go to that once a year rotation.
I would agree. I would agree. Um, I mean, yeah, there's Watkins Glen and Sonoma has pretty much been the, you know, grandfathers of the road courses ever since they started road course racing. And a lot of these other tracks, they were exciting to watch. As you mentioned, the Gen 6 cars race really well. They were exciting to watch, mostly because my favorite driver was winning some of them, but still, um, they were still exciting to watch because it always came down to the last couple of laps, and it was normally because somebody ran out of gas, but still. Um, but yeah,
Either ran out of gas or ran out of talent.
yeah, one of the two. But had those two, those two will never be changed because those are the grandfathers of them, of the road courses. And then you have that third one that's just randomized every year. There's multiple places they can go set one up or run one that's already there. Um, I mean, there's more than enough opportunities to make it everybody guessing every year. So there's no point to have these 5 to 6, in my opinion, especially with these next gens racing the next gens on the simulator. I know there's still difference between the simulator and real thing, but it's no fun to me. Unless it's Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen's fun, but that's because I like Watkins Glen. Any others, I'm just kind of dragging on. So
Right.
that's all I mean, that's a personal opinion, yes. And as you said, some of, a good amount of fans are starting to have that opinion, but we know how NASCAR likes to listen to us at the very end of things. So,
Right. And the other thing about road course racing that drives me absolutely insane is stage breaks, stage cautions. If they want stage points, I don't have a problem with that. We need to. I don't like them at all. I want to get rid of them altogether. But specifically at super speedways, or at the drafting tracks, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, get rid of stage breaks. And at the road courses, because they totally break up the natural flow of the race.
mhm.
Um, At back in the day at the road course, they would say, okay, well, we're going to run 90 laps at Sonoma. So we need to pit on lap 30, we need to put off 60, or we need to pit on lap 25, 50, and 75. They would they'd start by, how many, where do we need to get to the end, and then work their way back from there. Okay, so I can run I can run 25 laps on field, right? Okay, so I want my first two stints to be as long as they can be. So I'm going to go 25, 50, 75. I can get 25 out, and then my last run is going to be 15 laps, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they used to work it. Well, now they're like, well, we got a stage break at we're going to have a stage break at lap 25. We're going to have a stage break at lap 55 or 60, and then we're going to go the rest of the way. So yes, in some ways they still have the strategy because you can pit a couple laps before the stage break and blah 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 blah. But when everybody's going to pit, you're either going to pit 2 laps before the stage break or you're going to pit at the stage break.
Right.
You're not going to wait till lap if the stage break is on lap 20. You're not going to wait till lap 25 to pit.
Right.
Even though you can go 25 laps, you're not going to wait. You're going to pit there, and it's taken a lot of the um, mystery out of the strategy as to because everybody knows you're either going to pit with 2 laps to go or you're going to pit at the stage break.
Right. Exactly.
So uh, there's not much. There's only two strategies. So the stage breaks need to go, period. But especially on road courses and drafting tracks.
Yep. I would agree. I would agree.
And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, the big thing with the drafting tracks, if we do that, we get rid of the fuel saving, stupid fuel saving stuff. So, I mean, yeah, you can fuel save, but it's not going to really help you if we don't have stage breaks like you're, expecting. So,
Well,
I
I'm not really sure stage breaks is the cause of that. I think that they need a tire. If they can run 25 laps of fuel at Daytona, they need a tire that will last 26 laps. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That way when they have to pit for fuel, they have to take 4 tires
yeah, I would agree.
because they're not going to be able, if they run 27 laps and run out of fuel, their tires are going to, go flat.
Right.
I mean, or they're just going to be wear out to where if they turn the wheel too hard, they're going to spin out. I mean, we don't want blown tires or anything like that, but that's going to be the only thing that's going to break up the fuel saving is if I have to be on pit road for the full 10 seconds to change all 4 of my tires, I might as well take a full load of fuel.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So,
So,
but yeah. Anyway, you mentioned Tyler Reddick 3 in a row. You can't really skip over that. First
oh,
time in history that somebody's won the first 3 races of the season. There's been several times that they've won the first 2 races of the season. Most recently, Matt Kenseth in 2012. Um, but congratulations to Tyler Reddick in 2311 and Michael Jordan. Um, you know, went winless last year and really came out and uh, you know really lit it up this year. Last you can kind of go back and talk about this is kind of what Denny Hamlin did. And he went winless in 2018 and then came back in 2019, won the Daytona 500, won a lot of races in 2019. Didn't win three straight, but really did deep run into the championship. And Tyler Reddick is pretty much solidifying himself early in the season as a championship contender. Um, you know, he's going to have some races. He's going to have some bad weeks. Probably going to have a DNF or two. But right now, he's put himself in a position to where a DNF isn't really going to hurt him that much. He's still going to be in the top 3 in points.
yep.
So that's a good thing for what they've been able to do. 45 extra points due to wins. 15, they get 15 points for a win extra this year. Okay, he's got 45 of his 70-point lead is because he's won these three races. So that's pretty. We didn't we didn't expect to see this in the new Chase era, but we are, and um, you know, I'm still of that mindset that if we had the full season points and a driver ran away with it, if a driver went out and won all 36 races, even if it's not my favorite driver, that's very impressive.
Yep.
Um, you know, but even with this format going out winning three in a row and building up this lead is very impressive because it's really going to step well when it comes to being that regular season champion, depending on what goes on between now and then.
Right. Still plenty of racing to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if Reddick kept it. So, especially with the season they've had so far, because even Phoenix wasn't that bad for them.
Now,
So,
I guess we can move on to Phoenix
yeah,
with the NOAPS series. Um, Good race. Again, really, really good race. I'll be honest with you though, I'm not disappointed in Justin Allgaier winning.
nope.
Uh, I'm a fan, so never disappointed when he wins. I was really, really, really pulling for Carson Quaffle to get that first win though.
Yeah, that would have been awesome to see, for sure. Uh, so, we did have a lovely Cup driver in this race, William Byron in the 88. Which is, normally Raja Karuth, but he's not on the full season 88 schedule. He's in a full season, but not all with the 88. So Raja was in the 32 for Jordan Anderson. And Raja had a good finish and a decent race, but he had a good finish. So he's still doing great points wise. I know he didn't do so hot at COTA, but that's COTA, and that's a learning experience with the NOAPS cars themselves at a road course. So, but you like to see him being consistent on the ovals, for sure.
And he gave that Jordan Anderson team, um, a really good run. Um, and of course, I've been a fan of Jordan Anderson for a long time. And um, of course, Junior working out where they could run with this team. These are Junior Motorsports prepared cars, just like Carson Quapple is running the 91 car for I can't remember that team name. Um, Main which way, those are the cars that Carson Quaffle is running for that team are Junior Motorsports prepared cars, but they are run. The pit crew for those teams is the pit crew for those drivers when they're in those cars. The mechanics and the guys that are in the shop working on these cars are the guys that are at the racetrack working on these cars. It's not Junior Motorsports people working on these cars. So um, for Raja to go out with his team and run, finish as well as he did. You mentioned he didn't. He had an okay race, hovered around the top 15 most of the day, um, but was able to get the finish when it mattered.
Right.
And that's impressive. I really like to see this for Raja. I really like to see this for Jordan Anderson because, and you see Jeb Burton finished right in front of him in seventh in another Jordan Anderson car. So
Right.
what you're doing is you're seeing Jordan Anderson run up front, which is putting eyes on that team, um, which is has the potential to bring in more sponsorship to help keep those cars running up front when a Rajah is not in the car. It's able to help Jordan to be able to get and have better and newer equipment, to be able to bring some sponsorship money in, to help this team. Basically these two teams that Carson and Rajah are running for, put some eyes on these teams for some sponsorship. I believe that can make a difference. So um, disappointing he's not in the 88 for the full season, but it's helping out Jordan Anderson, I believe, in ways that maybe we didn't think about before the season started when we first heard the news.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, his paint scheme for Phoenix, I liked a lot. It was a combination of iRacing and NASCAR 25, and it looked really good for a NOAPS paint scheme. So, um, kind of hoping the next DLC will have that paint scheme in there. But I know roster probably wouldn't let it be as well because all the rosters changed since NASCAR 25's actually come out. But still, it's cool to see. I will mention Las Vegas is coming up this next weekend. He's in the 32. He won his first truck race at Las Vegas. Anything is possible for this kid. I mean, he's shown great talent so far on the ovals. And he knows how to get it done at Vegas, truck wise anyway. So I'm not saying, he could definitely do it this weekend in Jordan Anderson equipment. So
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
it's going to be good.
Corey Day with another top 10 in ninth. So you mentioned William Byron being the lone cup driver, 13th. Um, they seemed to struggle with that car most of the day. He wasn't as fast as I think anybody expected him to be.
Yeah.
Excuse me, y'all.
So, cup race?
Well, before we get to the cup race, let's talk about the. We normally don't cover IndyCar. We're not an IndyCar podcast, but we will mention that IndyCar was a doubleheader with the NASCAR this weekend. They ran on Saturday with the O'Reilly's cars, and this was the big 60th anniversary celebration for Team Penske. The whole reason that IndyCar and NASCAR ran this doubleheader was for this big Team Penske celebration. And just happened that they won the pole for the Indy race. They won the Indy race with Joseph Newgarden. They won the pole for the Cup race with Joey Logano. They won the Cup race with Ryan Blaney. But the Cup race wasn't as smooth sailing for Penske as the IndyCar race was.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. Ryan Blaney, as you mentioned, won the race, but he had to drive up through the field twice. One due to a pit stop, didn't get the tire all the way, so stopped in teammates' pit box to get that fixed. I forget what the other reason was.
That was actually the second time that happened.
So it's the first one I don't remember.
He had two loose wheels. Yeah, it was a loose wheel as well, where he actually had to pit again.
But if it had pulled out, if it had stayed a green flag run, especially there at the final stage, I don't think Blaney would have gotten the bell. In my opinion, Bell was running away with it. Bell had a hot rod. Pretty much when Bell got in the lead, he left everybody else in the dust until some of the cautions started coming out. One of them being due to Joey Logano being a numbnuts. So
wrecking two of the Penske cars.
Yeah, himself and Cindric. Yeah, that was funny, but also not funny to watch. So,
And this was
me.
another tire race.
Yep.
Um, the tires made the raised horsepower and tires wearing out, tires blowing made a big difference in this race. The biggest difference, though, was poor Noah Gragson had a brake rotor just explode
Mm,
in his car and brought out the caution. And then the next thing you know, there's like 4 cars coming down pit road with flat tires
yeah.
because they ran over some of that debris. Um, and it was kind of a wild um, chain of events there that happened. And but it's nothing we haven't seen before with these brake rotors exploding and putting debris out and then cutting tires. But it's really rare. Usually you'll have like one, maybe two cut tires, but it's rare that you have like 4 people that are in 4 different places on the racetrack run over this debris and get flat tires.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so tires really made a difference in this race, including coming down to who won the race.
Yep.
Tire strategy and all that. Because you mentioned Bell had a very fast car, which, surprise, surprise, Bell has won the past 2 spring races at Phoenix.
Yep.
So he was going for his 3rd Phoenix win in a row. And then his Adam Stevens did the same thing that Denny's pit crew did last year in a championship race, and with less than 25 laps to go, put on 4 tires. Had those cautions not come out, I believe Bell would have caught Blaney and passed him the tires. But the cautions really didn't work out for Christopher Bell. He really needed it to go green when they went back to green after he took those 4 tires.
Yep. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. So, as you said, tire wear there at the end was definitely a major factor. Um, yeah, and poor Noah brake rotor exploding. That's not normal at all. For one, and two, Noah just keeps having bad luck. Um, so
Oh yeah, he has had a NASCAR Cup Series career to be forgotten.
yeah, I mean, ever since, and I don't think it's front row's fault, but I don't know exactly if it's a combination of driver, team, driver with everybody else. All the other drivers. It's just I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working out very well, which is sad because I mean when he was in junior motorsports for at the time Xfinity, he was winning almost every single weekend. Kind of doing what Connor Zilic was doing, not as much, but he was doing it, which gave him a huge career just in Xfinity itself. So you hate to see stuff like that
Yeah, for
happen.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah. So some highlights of the finishing order: Bubba Wallace, second in points to Tyler Reddick coming into Phoenix. He's actually third in points now because Blaney moved up into second after this race. But Bubba Wallace with an impressive 6th place finish. Tyler Reddick with 8th place finish. Bubba Wallace's worst finish this year has been 11th at COTA. That for him is really impressive. Um, we're starting to see maybe his potential come alive a little bit more for whatever reason. I'm sure that their cars are better. Their cars are faster. You see that with Tyler Reddick. All 4 races this year. Bubba Wallace, all 4 races this year. Um, so you can't. I mean, you're not going to be able to count this team out with these 2 cars. Now, Riley Herbst, he's nowhere to be seen. Nobody's surprised by that. If you are, I don't know what's wrong with you. But the way Bubba and Tyler are running, they could easily go in, both of them, into the top 5 into the chase and both of them be around when we go to Homestead next year or at the end of the year with a chance to win the championship if they continue to run as well as they're running right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, you see them both doing well. Of course, Tyler Reddick doing, the first three races, winning all three, and then still finishing top 10 at Phoenix. And he was up front the whole race pretty much. Bubba Wallace, same thing. He may not be winning the races, but he's in the top 10 being consistent, which is going to be a huge thing with the new points format now. So I 100% agree. Both Wallace and Reddick could be, if they keep this up all the way to the end and running for it at Homestead, which would be an interesting team battle at the end, especially if it came down to just them two within points. Because I know we've seen in the past where when points matter, it's come down to the top two cars at the very end of the race. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did come down with that, especially with how it's been so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to think, this is after all that went on last year with the lawsuit. Um, them coming out like this with this kind of momentum is great for the teams. It's really, I think it's good for NASCAR because they're able to show that they've put that behind them and they're moving forward. But the other thing is, we saw Tyler Reddick come out. He won the first three races of the year. If Bubba Wallace went on a streak like that and was able to get him a couple wins in a row, it wouldn't. I don't think at this point it would surprise anybody. I think that we might be looking at Bubba Wallace's first ever career season with multiple wins in it, and I think if that shocks anybody, I think you're not paying attention to what's going on. I really think that's a good possibility this year. Tyler's going to get more wins this year. He's not going to be stuck at 3.
Right.
And then Bubba's going to get him 2, maybe 3 wins this year, in my opinion.
Absolutely. 100%. I could see it. I would love to see Bubba go on that winning spree. That would be awesome. I know we celebrated him winning the Indy 500 because we knew that was huge to him. And we like Bubba. We have nothing against Bubba. We love him.
Of which,
hey, look at that! I did not know you even got the diecast. That's actually pretty cool. There you go.
Came in yesterday.
Nice. So I guess the channel should expect a review in the next couple weeks.
I still haven't done the Byron Daytona 500 from 2025, but yeah, I'm gonna get to them eventually.
Yeah. Those will start pumping out eventually. There's still a lot going on, I know. So, but yeah, I would love to see Bubba go on that, multiple win spree. We know Reddick's gonna do more, but if Wallace can step in and show, hey, I'm here too, which we know he's more than capable of doing, even with running the way he is already, it would be awesome for both drivers and the team itself. And Michael Jordan's just having a grand old time already with the 3 wins with Reddick. I mean,
yeah.
The excitement you see on the man's face as soon as they pan the camera to him it's awesome to see. You love to see the GOAT of basketball, involved with such a big sport that he's been a fan of since he was, in like high school. That he said when he became a fan, but he didn't. I don't remember necessarily when, but you love to see it. So,
and the other thing is done because this is Michael Jordan's team. Is it's put NASCAR back in the mainstream media light in a positive way. ESPN is talking about NASCAR again. CBS is talking about NASCAR again. NBC covers the sport, but ABC is talking about NASCAR again. All of these people that have sports coverage that stopped talking about NASCAR years ago are talking about NASCAR again.
Yep.
Tyler Reddick is going on ESPN shows that hasn't had a NASCAR driver on in over a decade, if ever. So this is great for the sport, because it's putting NASCAR in front of people that have never been NASCAR fans, but it's also I believe, putting NASCAR back in front of people that used to be NASCAR fans, that watch football on ESPN, that watch Sports Center, that watch, all these CBS sports shows and stuff like that. They quit watching NASCAR because they felt like they weren't being listened to. That they had the playoffs and the new car and just all the different changes that they made. A lot of fans left. Well, this is putting NASCAR back in those fans' view. Um, Wait, why is ESPN hasn't mentioned NASCAR in a decade? Why are they talking about NASCAR? Oh, they're talking about NASCAR because Michael Jordan's team is winning races. And that hopefully will draw those fans back in, as well as draw in new fans that were fans of Michael Jordan, the basketball player, um, or just fans of basketball, um, period. Because there were people, yourself included, that were not around when Michael Jordan was at the peak of his career, when he was winning championship after championship after championship, that are huge Michael Jordan, that are huge basketball fans because of Michael Jordan. You know, and so this is definitely a win-win, for NASCAR, with this team winning, the way they're winning now.
Absolutely. You know, yeah. I mean, as you said, it's huge for NASCAR. They're getting more publicity, as you could say, through these sport news channels than they have who knows how long since. That's huge. You're gonna have people that watch these sports channels. They're like, huh, NASCAR? Wait, what? Since when we come? Since when did they start talking about NASCAR? Just as you said, and that's gonna bring people over to it, especially when they
Mm-hmm.
start hearing, hey, Michael Jordan has a team and they're winning, they're beating the crap out of everybody else. That's gonna bring some of those people over. Um, Unless you're a LeBron fan, you think he's a GOAT, then you may not come over. But then you just need to go look at history again, in my opinion. But that's me. Sorry. I don't mean to bring up basketball stuff during NASCAR, but it came up anyway.
Right.
And just to be
So, but
clear,
yeah.
I say LeBron isn't the GOAT, even though I grew up in the mid to late Kobe and Derrick Rose era. That was my era of basketball. And I know LeBron's still big. I mean, I'll say he's a talented player. He's not the GOAT. He shouldn't be even top 3. He shouldn't be even top 5. And some people don't say even top 10, which I would agree with. But that's just real
That'd
basketball
be me.
talk. That would be real basketball talk, and that's probably too much for some of y'all. So we'll stick with NASCAR. Sorry, I got
Right, for sure.
very off topic, but it happens. So
So yeah, Las Vegas this week. I'm looking forward to it. They're running the same tire that they ran, last fall. Um, it's okay, but Las Vegas has been a good race, for the past several years. So I'm looking forward to, um, seeing, the NOAPS and Cup Series. I still don't understand why the Truck Series does not go to, Phoenix and Las Vegas, um, with them at the beginning of the year. I don't understand that, but, it is what it is. So I'm looking forward to but I'll tell you what. Not only am I looking forward to Las Vegas, I'm not, and we've talked about this. I'm not the biggest Chase fan, when it comes to the championship format. But the fact that the drivers are getting out of the cars, we saw this with Tyler Reddick. We were able to celebrate Tyler Reddick winning the Daytona 500
hmm
because he won the Daytona 500. We were able to celebrate Tyler Reddick winning the first 3 races in a row, making history in the first 3 races in a row. Okay, not because he was locked in the playoffs.
yep, It's awesome to see. That
Um, Same thing with Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney was able to celebrate the fact that he won at Phoenix without having to be, oh, well, now I'm in the playoffs. Hadn't to worry about that. He was able to celebrate the win as a win. And same thing in the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series. Uh, we're able to actually celebrate wins for what they are. When Sheldon Creed won a few weeks ago, had this been last year, he would have first thing he would have said when he got out of the car is, "Hey, I'm locked in the playoffs."
Yep.
Not, "I won my first race."
Right.
And uh, as we see these other drivers when they win their first race this year, or we talked about with Tyler, when we see Bubba win two in a row, he's like, "This is my first," or when we see him win two races in a season, he's like, "This is my first season with two wins, with multiple wins." He's going to be able to celebrate that instead of, "Well, now I'm definitely okay. Now I got so many playoff points going into this will help carry me through." We don't have to worry about that anymore. We're actually able to celebrate wins. Every point matters. Um, you know, and if you don't believe every point matters, you look at Chase Briscoe and where he's at in the point. He had a miserable start to the season, yet he finished the regular season in the top 5 in points and carry that over. He's not going to fall back down to 16th in points because maybe he doesn't get all those playoff points or whatever. So, um, we're going to see people like Chase Briscoe work their way up. We're going to see drivers that are right now they're maybe in the chase. What they would say, they're in the chase. They're in the top 16. They're going to fall out. We're going to see drivers move up. I mean, we saw it this past week. Christopher Bell jumped 17 places in points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I want to call out Fox for not they talk about points all race long, but at the end of the race they don't show the points.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that. So having a look on the app.
What kind of sense does that make? Which also brings me to the next point that I want to talk about is at Phoenix, you had Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe join the Fox NASCAR booth, and I'm sorry, they made Clint Boyer look like a fool more than Clint Boyer makes Clint Boyer look like a fool.
Yeah.
They got up there, and again, they talked professionally. They talked like they were experts. They asked questions. They asked serious questions. They did not get serious answers
Mm-hmm.
from Clint Boyer. Now, Kevin Harvick and Mike Joy were trying to explain to them and give them serious answers. But it was great to hear them in the booth. But it was embarrassing for Fox. It was embarrassing for Clint Boyer. They're asking, what they've got the jack under, I think it was Zillage's car, and they're asking what's going on, what are they doing? And Clint Boyer starts talking about Wendy's, the fast food restaurant and their menu. It's like, what are you talking? What does that have to do with what he just asked you?
What's that got to
Okay,
do with the
yes,
jack
I
on your car?
understand. I understand Wendy's is the sponsor on the car. Okay, I get that. Um, but what does that have to do with the question that Townsend Bell just asked you?
Yep. Yep.
You know, um, every time they make a serious point about what's going on the racetrack, Clint Boyer's got to be like, well, you don't have to worry about that. So it was just, I was a huge Clint Boyer fan when he was on the racetrack in the race car. Not a Clint Boyer fan in the booth. Um, a huge Kevin Harvick fan when Kevin Harvick was in the race car. I mean, you look at my collection, I've got a huge Kevin Harvick collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he was my favorite driver for a lot of years. He's good at commentary. He's really good at play-by-play. Um, he sounds really, really good when he's got somebody in the booth that he works really well with. Uh, like, you know, a Joey Logano. I'm not the biggest Joey fan on the track, but when he's in the booth, Joey does a great job.
Yep.
Brad Keselowski's in the booth with him. Um, they got the drivers only thing coming up in Darlington. Kevin Harvick's moving over to play-by-play. He's going to have a couple drivers in there with him. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, but Clint Bowyer and Kevin Harvick together is not a good pair. They may have been a good pair on the racetrack. As team, they are not a good pair in the booth because Harvick needs somebody to feed off of, and the only thing that Bowyer is giving him to feed off of is jokes and laughs and cutting up and non-serious commentary. It's time for a change in the Fox booth when it comes to Clint Bowyer.
Absolutely. I would agree. So.
And I'll just let that be my rant.
Works for me. So. Yeah.
So, on that note, I want to share something with you guys that I have been hunting for years. And I finally found one. And I finally found one at an affordable price where I didn't have to sell one of my children to get.
What?
Which.
Not that you would have
But I
gotten
finally
much
found.
for them.
I know, right? They'd have been brought back after the first meal, both of them.
Yeah.
I finally was able to hunt down a Kevin Harvick 2014 Sprint Cup Championship flag.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very, very, very excited to get this. I found a guy that has a lot of historic flags, a lot of old flags that you just can't find anymore. But some way, somehow, he has them in his inventory. I've got some more on the way. I've got a Truex Junior flag from 2017. I've got, of course, too hard to find a Justin Allgaier flag from a couple years ago. I got that on the way. But I have something for you, too, that I found.
Oh.
That this guy had that I thought was really cool, and I figured you would enjoy. I didn't get me one yet, but I'll show it to you real quick. It is a championship heritage flag.
Oh. That is awesome.
I don't know if you can see it really good.
I can see it. Bill Elliott from '88 and Chase Elliott in 2020 with the 9 heritage. Oh, that is awesome. I remember when I saw that when they first came out with that flag, I really wanted one, but I couldn't get one at the time. That is.
Well, yeah, because they were sold out.
Yeah, they went fast. Especially by the time I actually had the money to buy one, they were just gone. So that is awesome. That'll 100%.
So, but like I said, I found this guy. I found him on eBay. I am so excited to be able to get these flags. They are authentic. They're not, knockoffs or anything like that. But like I said, I was very excited to find him. I've got some more on the way. They're about, they're very inexpensive when it comes to flags. So, and, yes, and how I know they're authentic is they're the same material that, like this Harvick 2014 flag here is the same material as the Chase Elliott 2020 flag that I have hanging up behind me. That I bought immediately after he won the championship. So
yeah,
that's how I know it's authentic. It has the tags on it and everything, like the Chase Elliott one did. So I'm really excited to have this flag. Been wanting this flag for a long time. So glad to be able to add it to my flags.
Yep.
Anyway, I wanted to share that with everybody. When the other ones come in, I'll show you them too. The only problem is I'm running out of ceiling space to hang them. So yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I already know once I move and set everything up, I'm gonna look at the walls and be like, I've got a lot of flags. So
Dude, I'm telling you, use the ceiling.
I will definitely try. The ceiling is a good idea. Just depends on how the ceiling is in the new house we'll be in. So mostly because I plan on having most of the setup in the garage, so everything will be a little different. Just for keeping one of the rooms free inside the house if in case needed for something down the line or someone. So you never know. But that's awesome. Glad to see that. I remember when we got you the championship diecast from 2014. That was awesome. I know you loved getting that as a Christmas present one year. So
Yes.
now that you have the flag on top of that, that's got to be super exciting. I'm super excited now that you grabbed me a heritage flag because I wanted one really badly. They came out with a lot of that stuff and it was gone almost instantly. Um, I basic
Yeah, it was.
I basically picked up the few goofy things that were left, what I think was a couple of like model kits, and that was it. So that's awesome. I appreciate that a lot. So
But I am now, since I have the Truex flag and I have the Allgaier flag, I am now one flag away from having my championship collection with the diecast and the flag. All I need now is William Byron's 2017 Xfinity Series championship flag, and I will have all of my championship bars and the flags.
nice, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That is awesome. Happy to see you get something you've been wanting. Happy I actually get something I've been wanting that I didn't even think was going to be possible to get again. So that's awesome. I'll just touch on some of the gaming side of things real quick. I don't know if you have seen iRacing has come out with a humongous update for their season 2, adding a lot of updated rescan tracks, adding a few new tracks. The St. Petersburg track being one of them added. One of the vehicles, a couple of vehicles were rescanned, and a couple, not very many were added, but a few were added. And one of the biggest ones added that I can't wait to go pick up once I get paid is the Dodge Ram truck. The Ram NASCAR truck has been added to iRacing. So if you use iRacing on your PC or laptop, whatever, I definitely recommend picking it up. Because why wouldn't you want to drive a Ram? So the only thing I'm kind of dreading is having to go remake all my paint schemes. But that'll still be fun. It'll still be fun, be cool to have. So super excited for that. If you haven't seen, iRacing Arcade has come out on Steam. I know some of you console players are waiting for that release. That looks pretty goofy, but also pretty fun. If from what I've seen, I actually do plan on picking it up eventually. I haven't decided if I'm gonna get it on PC or console yet. I'd have to look more into it before I decide that. But it's a down the road possible purchase just because how fun and goofy it looks. It basically looks like a cartoonish.
Kind of.
It's like I would say it's NASCAR arcade, but more Gran Turismo style racing is what I would say. So, it looked really fun to play. Definitely something to be like just goof off to play with friends or something. When you're hanging out and you want to talk smack on a racetrack, well, there's your game to probably pull out for that. So, because it's just going to be fun and goofy. So that looks fun. I don't think there was any other news. I do want to touch because I know we don't talk about it much. Because you mentioned it, IndyCar stuff a couple times. There's still the IndyCar game to come out. We don't have a lot of news except that it's in process, in development with under iRacing. So excited for that to come out. But other than that, I don't think I have anything racing or not racing, but gaming wise at the moment. So there's that. Just wanted to touch that real quick. So I have nothing else until we get to partners/sponsor shout outs that I'll do after you do some whatever else you got.
That's pretty much all I've got. I don't have anything. I don't have anything else news wise or anything going on. I will work on hopefully getting these diecast reviews done. Um, there's just been so much going on. Um, for those of you that don't know, we've moved in the process. In the summer, we're still working on unpacking and setting everything up. Um, in the process of also working, um, I'm working on building a new ministry, which is taking up a lot of my time. So just kind of be patient with us as we get there. I've been sick the past couple weeks. You can probably hear it in my voice. So it's really nothing serious, just sinus stuff. It's that time of year.
Yep. Yep.
Plus we've got thunderstorms coming through tonight. Yay, yay, yay. I'm looking forward to that. Not, uh, but yeah, we've had a lot of things going on personally that we've had to deal with. Nothing bad. Everything's been positive. It's just, there's a lot going on. So apologize for not getting them done quicker. It's just, sometimes life gets in the way, and when you're building something from the ground up, it can really take up a lot of your time. So working on getting stuff off the ground with that. So we'll get to it. For our um, fellow podcasts, you need to listen to Scene Vault podcast with Rick Houston and Steve Wade. Door bumper clear. If you don't like Cletus and want to hear some opinions that we kind of agree with, go listen to Door Bumper Clear. They're a little bit more harsher than we are, but they're they're NASCAR insiders, so they can do that. Dale Jr. Download with Dale Jr. Actions Detrimental with Denny Hamlin. The Teardown with Jeff Gluck, Freddie Bianchi. Um, Happy Hour with Kevin Harvick. And then, of course, all of the people that we get our news from. We want to thank them as well. Of course, you mentioned Pockrass. If it didn't come from Bob, it can't be true. That's just pretty much the truth of it. That old saying, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? Well, if Bob Pockrass posted it, it is true. It is fact. It has been researched. So, and that comes down to Bob posts the weather. Bob posts whether the track has lights. He gives start times, end times. Excuse me. If Bob Pockrass posts it, you can take him at his word. Also, Matt Weaver. If you're a local short track fan, he covers racing at all levels, all over the country. So give Matt a follow. He's excellent to follow. He also interacts with the fans, whether he agrees or disagrees with you, and he does it in a very respectful manner. Jayski, of course, for any stats that you're looking for. Couch Racer, they're still fun to follow. Their website and their merchandise is shut down, but their X profile is still a lot of fun to follow. Brock Beard, excuse me, y'all, on X and on YouTube. Excellent videos on YouTube. And then, of course, our favorites, CircleBDiecast.com for all of your diecast needs. Check them out. Give them a purchase. You can say that we sent you. It will mean absolutely nothing to them.
No.
But hey, if you do put in your orders and you put down a special comments box that you heard about them from us with Round the Track with the Riders NASCAR podcast, maybe, just maybe, they'll contact us and help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
So give them a shout, give them a purchase, and let them know that you heard about them from us.
We would greatly appreciate that. But yes, of course. Also, make sure you check ourselves out. We do, if you don't follow any of the others, we do retweet a lot. However, I do still recommend following a lot of the guys that Duke Ryder mentioned because we don't always get to those tweets. There's also some tweets we just randomly tweet that have nothing to do with NASCAR sometimes, and that's just part of Twitter. So our handles are also down in the description below. And of course, our lovely partnerships of the channel and podcast, who we appreciate a lot. You have Dubby Jitters Energy Blend for your energy drink and hydration blend needs. You also have Poggers Energy Blend, another energy drink that I am happy to have on board. They also have hydration and sleep mixes if needed. You got Rankest Rope Ranchwear. Follow Him Apparel and Undrdog Athletix, 3 lovely clothing brands. Rankest Rope is a Western and 80s styles clothing brand. Follow Him is a regular Christian-based clothing brand, and then Undrdog Athletix is a Christian-based athletic clothing. So if you play some sports and you want to show your love for Jesus and how good God is, excuse me, I almost said that backwards. Check them out. And then very exciting news. I know I mentioned this as a tease from the last episode, that I was literally in the works at that pretty much that very moment, before and after the podcast, of getting a new partnership. So I'm very happy to welcome aboard the partnership with Blacklyte. It is a gaming chair and gaming desk company. Very top end. I know they sponsor a few esport teams that have won esport competitions before. So if you're looking for a high quality chair or a high quality gaming desk that won't break your wallet, check out Blacklyte. They've got a lot of cool chairs, gaming chairs and desks, and quite a variety of colors for your chairs. They even have a camo one. So I definitely plan on picking one of them. I haven't even decided which one I want to get once I finish kind of settling down in my new house after moving. So after a few months, I definitely plan on getting myself one. So you're going to have to wait a while if you want to see it from me, but I definitely recommend checking them out. And of course, you can use code SterlingRider, 15% off at checkout with them. Thank you, Blacklyte. Very, very happy and thankful for this new partnership with you guys. And of course, I thank all of our other partners that I've mentioned. All their links down in the description down below, like always, along with what code to use at checkout. So make sure you go check them all out. I appreciate every single one of them. They've been with me for a while, and some of them, as I just mentioned, have just joined. But very excited and can't wait for more opportunities to help us both grow. So definitely check them out.
I have a question.
Yes.
Company's name is Blacklyte. Do they have black lights in their gaming chairs or in the desks for like a afterglow?
That is a fantastic question, and that would be a fantastic idea. I can say this much. I'm pretty confident they're not in the chairs. I didn't really go look into the desk, so it could very much be in the desks. You'd honestly have to go look at that one.
That would be pretty awesome to have a black light as a kind of afterglow under your TV or on your chair or whatever.
Yeah,
that would be a pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. So I'd have to look more into that. That's a great question. But like I said, I'm pretty confident the chairs didn't, but the desk very might have, because I didn't really look at the desk. I just glanced at them. But good question. So I will let you know once I have an answer to that. Yeah. Anything else?
No, Las Vegas, and then Darlington. We should be able to be back after Darlington. That is spring break week for us. Man, I'm I'm looking forward to seeing um, really how this how this whole season plays out with the new championship format. Um, and We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm excited
Yep.
for the first time in several years. Really excited about what's coming up after seeing what we've done in the past 4 weeks, and just it excites me to see what's coming up for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. So, yeah, a lot of exciting things. The season's just already started off with some excitement. Um, you know, points is a big thing for once. It's not a win and you're in. It's every point matters, and that's what we've been hoping for a while. So it's exciting to see. Yeah, we'll be plan to be back after Darlington. So Vegas and Darlington. It's going to be good, some good racing for sure. So we'll see you then. And yeah, with that being said, we'll finish it off. So we'll always remember, be bold, share Jesus, right on. Thanks for watching.